So I told him, I said, you see how much dedicated I am to this job? You know, I'm gonna be dedicated to my job with you, right? He was like, I already know, Mom, I already know. So
So who's at the Thanksgiving dinner table?
well, mostly like Micah, me, my kids. Last year I had 50 people.
Whoa! Why? How?
Because Micah had a
Where?
couple. Look, we had tables set up in the living room and everything.
Oh my gosh! Like a big, like just stacks it. Like how?
Yeah, we had, cause you know we had like a table, then people sitting on the couch. We got an island, people around the island. Had tables set up for other people to sit down and eat.
Oh
Some
my
people
God!
standing up. You know, yeah, it was like 50 people.
How do you roll 50 deep? Was it friends, family,
Yeah,
people
but it was
coming from?
friends, family. My brother,
Okay.
him and his kids came from out of town. My mom came. He had some other friends and family that came in to visit. Then we had our neighbors, all my kids, my brother, his kids. Yeah, it was like 50. And his girlfriend, her family was there.
Wow.
Yeah, we was deep.
They stayed at a hotel.
Well, some of them. His girlfriend family stayed in the hotel, and the
Okay.
rest of them kind of stayed with us, the ones that didn't live like in the area.
Find a room. Find some carpet or an air mattress or something. Yeah.
Yes.
Gosh. So families obviously it seems like a big deal to the Parsons family. Can you kind of just take me back to the early days and how that bond became so tight with your family?
You mean my immediate family?
Yeah. Yeah. With Micah, his siblings, and just kind of you in the matriarch role there as well.
Well, siblings, you know, of course, we all came up together. But my one brother, Marcel, been in the Air Force for a few years. So when Micah was like a teenager, when he was stationed out in California, actually Arizona, then he moved to California. He was like, hey, send Micah out and spend some time with me for a week or two, because he had a son too. So I used to send Micah out with him. So he used to go out and spend like a week or two at his house in the summertime. Then he'd come back and so like him and my brother kind of like started creating a bond throughout the years, and he would take him like all over. They went to like LA together, and I think what was it going on the one year? They went to they was in LA. It was like some event that they had. So then they pulled up, and he was able to meet like what was it? He
Was
saw
it the NFL
Floyd May.
honors?
No, it wasn't the honors. It was something like what was it? I don't even
Some
remember what it
UFC
was.
or some boxing event maybe?
No, it wasn't boxing. It was like an event that they was having
Okay.
at the what is like the one of them
Arenas or something?
yeah. And he met Floyd Mayweather. He met Muhammad Ali's daughter. What's her name?
Layla?
Yeah, he met her. I got some pictures. I should have sent those to you.
You got time, it's all good.
I gotta find them. Yeah, he met them. So he was so excited when he met them. So that was pretty cool.
How old was he at the time?
About 14, 15.
Okay. So he just told us like a second ago that there was some play in high school around this time of year, a couple, however many years ago it is now, that kind of, he came in as a backup and made some play in a high school game, and that kind of changed the trajectory of his entire football career. Do you remember this
his
play?
freshman year, yeah.
Do you remember that at all? Was
Yes.
it? Yeah. What?
Because at the time, I think he was on it. He was ninth grade.
Yeah.
So he was ninth grade. He was the backup DN. You know, that was the first time he ever had to play backup. He was always a starter, and so of course, he wasn't like happy about being a backup. But the one kid ended up getting hurt. So then they was like, okay, they called Micah, and I think like either that play, the first play or the next play, he ended up blocking the field goal. And then he ended up catching it and running it in for a touchdown. Actually, I think I might have a picture of that one too. I got to find it.
And so that changed the course of
Yep.
Micah Parsons playing football.
Then he was a starter after that.
Right after that game.
Right after that. That was when he started. And then I think, so he became the starter that year. And then that's when he started getting like national recognition. I think actually the very next year he got an offer to Penn State.
How
Because I
important?
think he broke the sack record as a freshman.
At high school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he had like 15 or something like that.
Oh my gosh. How important was it for him to stay close to home and go to Penn State? Because nowadays, transfer portal, kids are going all over the place, but he seems so rooted in family that it would have been crazy to think that he would have gone out of state, you know what I mean?
Well, first he was thinking about it. He had a couple options. He was like, oh, I like Oklahoma. I like Georgia. He was liking Ohio. But then he was like, because he originally committed to Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
And then his dad was like, well, you haven't really seen a lot of different schools and experienced a lot of different things. So he was like, let's go on some official visits to really get your feel to make sure Penn State is somewhere where you really want to be. And so he started going to different ones. And then Coach Franklin was like, well, you committed to us. So you can't be doing that, going to other schools when you committed to us. So then he decommitted from Penn State. Decommitted.
So he can go on his visits.
So he went on the visits. And then I remember it was up to the night of commitment day. It was like sometime like December. I remember it was the day before he had to sign and commit. He was like, I don't know. I'm so torn where I want to go. Because, at the time, all the schools putting the pressure on. Oh, we can give you this, we can do that. And so he was just like, I don't know. And he was like, what should I do, Mom? I said, I don't know. I said, just follow your heart. I said, whatever, God leads you, just do it. And he was like, he said the whole night he was wrestling like his decision. I was like, I'm not going to be mad. I said, just know, if you go too far, I'm not going to be able to come to all your games. I'm going to come to as many as I can, but I'm going to support you no matter what you do, but I'm not going to be able to come to every game. So then we didn't know until that day when he revealed it where he was going. Everybody was surprised because I was like, okay, is he going to pick Penn State? I was like, didn't nobody know.
How exciting was that, as a mom, being able to know that you're going to be able to see your son play so much more? And not too
I was
far
excited
away.
when he picked Penn State because, I love the coaches. They was really nice. And it's only an hour and a half drive from home, so I can always drive up with no problem, go to the games, hang out. And then, he didn't realize, like, once he committed to Penn State, it was a better fit for him because, especially being a freshman, first time really being away from home, you wouldn't be able to come home, like, for the holidays and things like that. So, he was able to come home for, like, a long weekend when he got it. And then I remember his very first Thanksgiving dinner that he had, because they always played that weekend. He was like, Mom, I got practice that day. I'm not going to be able to come home for Thanksgiving dinner. So you got to come up here and cook for me. I was like, what? So I was like, okay, I do it.
You did it?
I did it.
Oh.
So me and my mom, we would pack up my car. I start prepping the food, get up early that morning, start prepping the food and everything. Load it up in the car, drive an hour and a half up to Penn State, finish cooking, set everything up, and cook for him and his teammates.
Oh my gosh. That's immense sacrifice, and that's, I guess, what moms do, right?
That's what moms do.
Okay, how often is Micah still calling you, Mom, can you do this? Mom, can you do this for me?
He does it not all the time, but he does it often.
What if he's calling now, what does he ask? What mom requests is he calling about now?
Oh, Mom, where's Zule? Or, Mom, can you do this? Can you get me a change of clothes to wear? Can you iron this? I'm like, what?
He's still asking you to iron?
Yes. Pack his bag, different things like that.
Well, we'd be remiss. I mean, y'all live together, right? So,
Yes.
So you live together, obviously, during his childhood, teenage years. He goes away to Penn State, and then he gets drafted by the Cowboys, and now y'all live under one roof again. How has living under one roof with young adult Micah been compared to maybe when he was a kid? Is it the same?
Yeah, it's pretty the same. He does his thing. I do my thing. He stays up in his little, as you could say, little man cave area, play his game, go into his movie room, hang out, and do things like that. I just stay in my little room or hang out with his kids and things. So we don't really bother each other. He don't bother me. I don't bother him. It works out that way.
Everyone's got their space.
We all got our space.
He's got a spot where he does his podcast.
Yes.
So do you watch the podcast? Are you a subscriber to the podcast?
I do watch it. I don't watch everyone.
Yeah.
A lot of times I'll see the clips. So,
Yeah, the clips that go viral.
Viral, they be all over the place. I'm like, oh, wow.
Do you ever ask him about the ones that go viral or the ones that blow up and you're like,
Sometimes I do.
Bring it to him and like, what is this?
I do sometimes, but sometimes he'll be like, Mom, I don't really like talking about work. I was like, okay.
So the Micah we know is the one who talks in the locker room for 23 minutes and makes us late for interviews like this. Has he always been that, I don't know.
Talkative?
Yes.
No.
No?
No.
When did this happen?
It only depends on his mood.
Okay.
If he's in a good mood and he got something to talk about, he'll talk about it.
After a win.
After a win, especially, he's really happy after a win. If he lose, he's hit or miss.
Right.
He do
It's
not
dicey.
like losing. Because even like growing up, he used to hate losing. I remember when he was younger, he used to lose because he never really been on like a losing team. Most of the teams he ever played on were always winning teams. So it's like when he did lose, he'd be crying and stuff because he hates losing. His dad used to say, "Why are you crying?" He was like, "Well, we lost." He was like, "Did you do your best?" "Yeah." "Then you have nothing to cry about then." But he just hate losing.
So would he cry after every loss in youth
He
sports?
used to cry almost every loss he lost.
Oh my gosh. What sports did he play besides football growing up?
Oh, he played a lot. He tried almost everything.
I understand
So,
he played volleyball at
He
some
played
point.
volleyball. He ran track. He did wrestling. He played baseball baseball as a but like youth league baseball. And like it used to be funny because like when he went up to the mound, you didn't ever know what was going to happen. Either strike out or hit a home run. It was like that's how much power he was swinging the ball. It's like just try to go for the happy medium. No happy medium with him.
All or nothing.
All or nothing.
What was young Micah like? What are your early memories of him as a baby, a toddler? Or, most little boys are always just like running around and bashing their heads into walls and whatever, and just bouncing all over the place. What was he like?
He ran around a lot, but he was more like he always stayed busy. We always like all seasons he was doing a sport. We always kept him busy. So it's like when he didn't have a sport, he was like, what am I supposed to do now? So it's like when he like all season, it's like he got to stay busy because I guess because all his youth or even as like up to high school and college, he always stayed busy because during college you don't get no time off. You get like a week or two here, a week or two there, but for the most part you practice in school and everything all year. So like to me he don't like to be bored. If he's had to sit around the house more than a day, it's like, okay, I got to find something to do.
He can't be still.
He can't be still.
What was life like growing up for him in Harrisburg and just kind of lifestyle around town? What kind of childhood did he have growing up?
I think he had a decent childhood. Well, we used to live in the city of Harrisburg, and then I think once he became like about 5 or 6, we moved out to Central Dauphin. So it was a little better out when we lived out Central Dauphin. I think it was pretty good. He had quite a few friends, which he still hang with now. He used to try to hang with some other little kids, and then I was like, no, they just not a good fit. And then so he was like, okay, Mom. And so he stuck to his same friends from middle school, elementary. It's the same friends he have now. He added maybe a few here and there, but not that many. And actually, most of them moved to Dallas with him.
Oh, did they really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, adolescence, kids can gravitate towards the right thing and the wrong things. What kind of kept him on the right path, you think?
I guess I stayed in his ear a lot and telling him, you can, then I think it was like at one time it was this kid that used to go to Central Dauphin. He had a scholarship to Penn State. He was going to Penn State, and then right before he was supposed to go, he had got into some trouble. And I remember, so then after that, Micah was coming up right after him, and they were like, Micah, you're going to be just like him. You ain't going to be successful. You ain't going to make it. You're going to just be just like him. You ain't going to never do anything with yourself. And that was heartbreaking for him. He used to came home crying one day.
Who said that to him?
I don't know. People were saying it to him. And he was so upset. And he was like, Mom, they saying this. I was like, listen. I said, the best way to do it is prove them wrong. That's all. Just stay focused. Do what you need to do. Don't worry about what they saying to you. They saying you ain't going to make it. You can make it. As long as you have a made-up mind, determination, you're going to do exactly what you say you're going to do. And then after that, he was like, okay. And he was just on the ground foot running. He was like, he had his mind made up. These are the things I want to do. I remember when he went up to Penn State, the day I had to drop him off, that was the sad day. And we was walking up and down the halls, and he was like, Mom, they have like a wall with all the people that won different awards, like the Buckets Award, and got the, consensus something award and stuff. And then so he was walking up and down the hall. He was like, Mom, I want to be on this wall one day. I was like, really? He was like, yeah. He said, right here. My name gonna be right here. And it was so we just walk, and he was like focused. He was like, I'm gonna make it, Mom. I'm gonna do this. He was like, I'm gonna do it for you, Mom. I was like, okay, thinking, I'm believing, but I'm like, is he really gonna do this?
You just have to nod and smile because you're Mom, right?
Yes, she was like, okay, I believe in you, son. But in the back of your head, you're like, I hope he can be successful. Mm-hmm. But nothing's guaranteed in life. So He was like, but he was so determined. The coach was like, he always keep coming to my office talking about how can I get better? What can I do to make to get on the field? Because at his freshman year at Penn State, he was a backup too, which had killed him because he don't like being a backup. He always want to be first. He competitive, and so he was like, coach was like, he keeps saying, what how can I get better? He said critiquing his film and stuff, and he ended up working his way up to starter reps, even though he wasn't a starter.
He just actually talked about that and how actually being behind a starter helped him kind of learn some of that, so when he did become a starter, he could be a better player for it.
Mm-hmm.
What were some learning experiences he had growing up? Because it seems like most kids go through those at certain points or at certain ages. What were some of his? Do you remember?
I remember the one he had got in trouble. He was went to a party one time, and it was funny because he was with a party and in like a neighborhood, and the kids was like running around and acting crazy. So somebody had to end up calling the cops on him, and all the kids took off running. He stood there and was like, what's going on? Why are you running for it? So it was funny because they ended up taking him down to the police station. And then when he got to the police station, they was like, they had to call me and I had to come to the police station. I'm like, what in the world I'm coming to this police station for? They was like, ma'am, he's not in trouble. We just want to talk to him because it was an incident. Some kids was doing things they wasn't supposed to do, and we just want to know what happened. And Micah looking at me like, what am I supposed to do? I said, look, you better start talking.
But he didn't want to take off running. He just
no, because
did
he
he? But he did he know?
He didn't do anything, and
Yeah.
the cop was like, he knew because all he said that some of the kids that they had, I guess they was drinking and just kid things doing dumb stuff, and he said like Micah, he wasn't drinking, he wasn't doing any drugs or anything. He just stood there because I guess he was like, well, I ain't doing nothing wrong, so I'm not running, and everybody else took off running, I guess, because they knew they wasn't supposed to be doing stuff, and then he was like, after that, he was like, you know what, Mom? I'm sticking to my same friends. I'm not doing this no more. I was like, I try to tell you, it only take a minute to get caught up. Kids don't realize that. You can be in a situation you think you're having fun or you just want to hang with kids to do other stuff. And like I told you, sometimes you can't do stuff like that because you just don't ever know what might happen. Everything can be going good, and within a second, things can turn to the worst. And so after that, he was like, you know what, you're right. I'm sticking to my same friends. And that's what he started doing. He didn't hang with nobody else extra after that.
When you mentioned this kind of focus that he had, this goal to get to where he is now. When was that born? When did that start? I mean, obviously he plays youth sports and he gets good, but when did it click like, this is where I want to go, this is what I want to do?
I think when he was in high school when he started getting like recognition, but like before he started because I think he kind of knew that he was good, but then he didn't really believe he was good. So like I remember like we had to take him to like different camps. I remember the one rivals camp. So the first year was going to take him and he was all like, okay, I'm going to go. And then he backed out like the night before. He's like, no, I don't want to go. I'm not good enough. He was like, what if these kids are better than me? And he started going through all these, he was scared. And then so his dad was like, you should do it. You just don't ever know. I think is that year or the next year he went and won the camp. And then his dad was like, see, you just gotta believe in yourself. You are good enough. You can compete with some of these older kids and stuff. But he just didn't believe that, I guess, he could. And then once he got that confidence, he was like, okay, now I can hang with some of these bigger kids, because he didn't know. He was like, no, I'm not good enough. I said, stop believing you're not good enough and just believe that you can, And then he was like, okay.
So he needed some reaffirmation that this was something worth chasing. Would you say that Micah is a mama's boy?
No, everybody say he is, but I don't think so. We're close, but I don't think he's a mama's boy.
Why does everybody else say that?
I don't know. I guess because they were like, oh, he's so close to you, he be kissing up to you. No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Why not?
Because, just because you're close to your mom, that don't mean your mama's boy. Just because, I do, because you're like, you always doing stuff for him. He be like, do this, Mom, do this. Or you go to shopping for him and you do this. I'm like, why not? Why not do those things for him? He blesses me, so I just feel like it's my reasonable service to, do things back and bless him back.
What was he like as a kid? Was he shy? Was he mischievous? Was he, clingy to Mom?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was a little clingy then. He was a little clingy, and it was funny because like he used to snitch on his brother and sister. Because since he's the youngest one,
Right.
the oldest ones, he was like, "Mom, I don't want to be like them. They getting in trouble. They get no punishment." So he was like, I think he learned from them to not do the things that they did. So he stayed pretty much calm. So I remember the one time he tried to steal my car. Yeah, he tried to steal the car.
Car or
And-
card?
Car.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
he couldn't get out the parking lot though, but he tried. And
How old was he?
16.
Okay.
So he took the car and was trying to drive it, but hit the curb, busted the tire right away. And then I was at work. He called me, "Mom, I'm so sorry." I'm like, "What's going on? What happened?" I swear, because he was working at Hershey Park. "I'll take my whole check. I'll pay for the tire and everything." I was like, "Okay, don't worry about it. We'll get the car fixed." My daughter was so mad. She was like, "Why ain't he in trouble? He just stole your car. He busted the tire." I said, "Well, he called me. He apologized. He said he's gonna pay to get it fixed." So
He didn't try to hide it or
yeah,
pretend.
he didn't try to lie and try to hide or anything. He said he's gonna take his little work check and get it fixed. So how can you be mad at that?
Has he? So that's accountability, right?
Accountability.
Has he always been that way? Because
He's
it
always been
seems
like
like he's
that.
that way now,
Yeah, he
especially as
is.
a professional.
He's always like that. So, and that's what I told her. He's a negotiator. He know how to talk his way out of situations.
Perfect.
He can talk his way out of anything. So I was like, you can't be mad when somebody come to you and say, "I'm sorry, I messed up, forgive me," and then own up to it and pay to get it fixed. How can you be mad about that?
Do you have any memories about Christmas time in the household? Were you all able to kind of celebrate as a family? What kind of memories stand out to you?
Well, we always, Christmas Eve, we used to always have a big family get together with my grandmother. We used to always go to her place and do like a Christmas Eve party with like all our family members. But then like Christmas, it was just more intimate where went over my mom's house. We opened up Christmas gifts and stuff. But for the most part, he always got what he wanted, so he never complained about that.
What were do you remember some of the gifts that he got over the years?
No, not really. But I remember like, as growing up, he used to always wear Jordans. And then Jordans was like, what, almost $200, $100, yeah, something like that.
Depending on the style.
And
Yeah.
I told him, I said, "Look, I'm not spending that much money on a pair of sneakers." I said, "You're crazy." I said, I got too many other responsibilities. So what he used to do, he used to go out and like shovel snow, cut grass, things like that. Be like, "Okay, if I come up with half the money, would you get the Jordans?" I said, "You come up with half? Yes. I don't mind getting them then because you help work for your portion and I can give you mine."
Wow. So he would do like odds and ends job in the neighborhood?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Was that, that was another question I want to ask. What were his jobs kind of growing up? Was it, shoveling snow, mowing grass? You mentioned he worked
he
at
did
Hershey
that.
Park.
Yep,
What
he
were
worked
some
at
of-
Hershey
yeah.
Park. Those are the only jobs he worked. So
What was the job at Hershey Park?
he used to be like a cashier.
Okay. What is Hershey Park?
It's a
Amusement park?
Hershey Candy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So they have
but
like a theme park?
Yeah, they have a theme park.
Okay, so he worked there.
Mhm.
Does he like chocolate? Does he like Hershey's?
He don't eat like chocolate, but he likes Gushers.
Okay. Gushers
Stuff like that.
Gushers are awesome. Gushers are fire.
He like those fruit smiles for some reason.
Okay. So nowadays, what is, what are things that he, splurges on or spends? Is it still Jordans? Is he a sneakerhead? Does he have a huge collection? Or is there other stuff now that he's, older, has some money, is able to, purchase stuff that he wants?
He got a lot of sneakers, a lot of clothes.
Does he have a sneaker closet?
No, but he need one.
He does.
He does.
So they're all over the place.
He got them lined up. He got some
So
shelves built in his room.
display
Yeah, had like
Okay.
a little display, and then they like all at the top of his closet, all at the bottom, all on the shelves, everywhere. I was like, "You don't need no more shoes."
How many pairs do you think?
He probably got about over 100.
Okay.
Yeah, because then he got rid of a lot. Once he signed with Adidas, he got rid of a lot of his Nike stuff. So it's like, but he was like, "I'm still keeping some of these."
Just for when that contract expires.
Because some of those sneakers are kind of expensive. So.
Are there anything besides sneakers? Like, is he into cars? What's kind of the stuff that, because you're around him, you see him, almost daily.
Well, he used to, at first, rookie year, he used to buy like a lot of the name brand clothes and stuff like that. And then like once he went into like his second year, he was like, I'm not really into that thing no more, that kind of stuff no more. So he goes in like spurts. He won't buy clothes. He's a good saver. He saves his money. So he won't buy clothes and stuff for a while, and then out of nowhere he might go get a couple outfits or something. But for the most part, he's been kind of like maintaining. He was like, I was in that phase where I thought I had to dress up and do all this. He was like, but I'm kind of out of that stage now. So he's like, I just want to be comfortable. So
Is he looking at investments or business ventures? Has he shown any interest in doing anything like that?
Yeah, so right now he bought two houses. Well, now he got three. He about to start renting out a couple houses. He started his car service business that we started a couple weeks ago, where we're doing transportation, picking people up. So he's trying to think of little ideas to start trying to get some residual income coming in.
Is that something that's always appealed to him, or is that just kind of something where it's like, okay, I have the capital to do it?
I think when he wanted to just try to set himself up for a life after football, where he has that residual income coming in, where, if he have a job, but he has steady income coming in that, that he's not able to save through the football. So.
Gotcha. He's mentioned earlier, because obviously coming up on a new contract, big contract, that he really just wants a lake house. That's about the only thing.
Yeah, he was talking about that.
Yeah, what has he said to you about this lake house? And then we're telling him, like, dude, you can get a lake house, if you got, you sign a $1 million extension. He was like, I might want a lake house on Lake Tahoe, and that's like 50. So what have been the lake house discussions at the Parsons house?
Because we went up to Broken Boat last year. And we was out on the lake riding boats, jet skiing and stuff like that. And then he was like, because first he was thinking about like building another house, getting some land to build a house. He was like, you know what, I'm just going to remodel the house that we currently have. And he said, I think I just want to do like a vacation lake house somewhere so I can just get away and hang out. Because his agent has like like a boat and all this stuff attached to his house. So he was like, I want one of these.
I like what David has. I want that.
Yeah.
How much of the contract talk is obviously a lot of noise that goes on in the football world and news media. How much of it does he talk to with you, with family, friends? Is that something that, he turns to mom to get her feedback on?
He don't really talk about it much. He just say, he keep trying to get me to quit my job.
You don't want to do it?
I'm up in the air.
Once he signs, maybe.
Maybe. Because I told him, I said, if I quit my job, what am I going to do? So then now he said, well, since he's starting to like the businesses and stuff like that, he's like, well, you could just help me do that. You could be my property manager. You can control that. And I was like, okay. I said, now you talk a little bit more. And then he was like, I pay you to do the jobs. He said, I give you what you're making at work. He was like, you don't have to worry about it. But, I don't know. I just like having my own money, my own security, but I got to think about it.
That independence?
Yeah, that independence.
What are you doing for work?
I work for United Concordia Dental.
Okay. And you've worked with them for a while, or?
Yep, 25 years next month.
Wow.
Micah was a baby when I started there. He was just an infant.
Oh my gosh. So what do you do for them?
I'm a lead for their can't even talk. I'm a lead for claims for the military contract.
Okay. And is it remote work, or you have to be in office?
Yeah, I work remote, and that was the best thing, about COVID. Because at first he wanted me to move to Dallas. I was like, I don't know, I can't quit my job because then we still had to go into the office. And so then once COVID hit, we went fully remote. And then he was like, okay, Mom, you're fully remote. There's no excuse now. You can move to Dallas. I said, you're right. No excuse. I can move now.
So I obviously would have to ask, it's Christmas time and family time. What has it been like to see Micah kind of grow as a father as well?
Oh, it's been great, At first, when he became a father, he had his son, I think his freshman year of college. He was kind of ashamed. He was like, I'm too young to have a kid and stuff. So I think he was a little embarrassed about it. But after that, it was like, once he started spending time with his son, and then he see other people having kids and stuff, he was like, okay, maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was, being basically a teen dad. And so after that, he just hit the ground running. He spent time with his kid. He was trying to get him to move to Dallas, him and his mom moved to Dallas with us because he lived in Harrisburg. so he could spend more time with his oldest son. But now he has two younger ones. He has his girlfriend now, so he's a great dad. He'd be so cute when he walk in the house and his daughter runs up to him, Papa, Papa. It was so cute. It just melts his heart. And he give her anything she wants. Her mom says no. She already come to her dad, and then she get to dancing, all excited because she already knows she's getting it.
So do his kids all live in Dallas, or because you said you were bringing Malcolm back to, what was it?
Pennsylvania, yes.
Pennsylvania. Was that just to visit family, or does Malcolm live in Pennsylvania?
Malcolm lives in Pennsylvania.
He does. Okay. Is that tough for Micah to be apart from him?
Yeah, it was. He was trying to. He was going through like a whole custody battle with his kid's mom and stuff, but so he gets him for the summers now, and he stays with his mom during the school year. Now he's turned 6. Cause before he used to come like every 2 weeks.
Right.
So every 2 weeks I'm driving, while I'm flying up, picking him up, bringing him back to Dallas. But now he gets him. It's kind of hard on him. I think that he only get to see him, just a short period.
So it's just during the summers right now that he sees.
Well,
Malcolm?
he was here for Thanksgiving. He was at the game for Thanksgiving. He was supposed to come for Christmas, but Micah don't get him on Christmas. He got to get him on the day after Christmas. But we go up to Philly. And so I was going to bring him down and then flying back up to Philly. Then Micah was like, that don't make sense, Mom, to bring him down for a day or two. So he was like, just go up there and just bring him to the game. So he's going to be coming to the Philly game with us.
With Micah and your relationship, what do you think is the biggest piece of advice that you've ever given him?
I don't know. I wonder what he would think that my best advice I gave him.
What do you think Micah thinks about his mom?
I think he think I'm awesome. I think, no, for real. I think he think I'm awesome. He know I'm a hard worker. Because even like now with my job, we got a lot going on. We busy. So I'm working extra hours and stuff like that. And then he was like, so I told him, I said, you see how much dedicated I am to this job? I'm going to be dedicated to my job with you, right? He was like, I already know, Mom, I already know. So, because he see that, I work hard. So he said I think that's like one of the things that motivate him. I used to work 2-3 jobs at one point in time in life, just to be able to provide for them, to make sure he has a good life. So I think, just by him seeing me putting in that hard work and, don't whine about it, don't complain, just do it. And I think that's kind of like motivated him to say, you know what, if my mom can make them sacrifices without crying, I could do this thing too.
Were there some tough times growing up?
Yes, it was some tough times. And then even I remember when he was at Penn State, when he first started, he said it was rough. Cause winter camp and whatever, they call it like winter training camp. He said, Mom, I think I done died and came back alive a couple times. He said they was pushing him that hard. And then I remember one day he was like, Mom, I just ready to quit. He said, this is too much. He's like, school. He said, I don't want to get no sleep. I can't do nothing. He was like, but but you, Mom, he said, for you, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it just for you. I was like, oh, that's so nice, son.
I meant also like tough times growing up and having to work multiple jobs. I mean, that's hard. I mean, especially when we're talking 2, 3 to provide.
And then you got to think I was doing that, plus picking him up from practice every day. Because when he was younger, I used to take him and pick him up every day. Once he got up to like middle and high school, I got a little easier because he can go right after school, and I just had to pick him up. He had games on the weekends. I didn't miss no games. Never missed a game. So, being there and then I had 3 other kids. So I'm picking them up, driving them around, doing everything for them too, plus Micah. And then when they all was in middle school and high school, it was even harder because now you got my daughter playing basketball, Micah doing football or wrestling. So you trying to go to all, okay, I can't come to your game, but so I'll come to yours today, tomorrow I'll go to yours. It was crazy.
Oh my gosh. The level of sacrifice, right? It never ends.
It never ends.
I wanted to ask you about this as well. So Micah's in the media a lot, whether it's for good reasons or for bad reasons, something he did on the field, something he might have said off of the field. As mom, and you see all these different headlines and reports and things that are on your feeds, how do you internalize that, if at all?
Well, most of the time I just be laughing. I'm like, oh wow. But like I think it was like one time, it just really rubbed me the wrong way. It was like, especially like it's like when you say stuff about him, it's like, okay, that's not true. But like the one guy when he really like tried to come at him and attack his character and make it look like he was a bad person, I was like, oh no, you ain't gonna play him like that. So I got on the Facebook post and I wrote a post about it, and I'm like, do you even know my kid? Have you ever talked to him? Have you ever sat down and even had any type of conversation to say what type of person he is when he called him like selfish and stuff? Because I'm like, Mike is nowhere near selfish. He's the most thankless person I ever known. He'd give people on his last. He sacrificed for his friends. He makes sure that he tried to set his friends up for success. Even the ones he came down here, I remember even when he was in high school, it was like he had opportunities. He'd be like, well, I'd do it if you let my friend do it too. Or he can come along. It's never been selfish. So for that guy to say he was, that rubbed me the wrong way.
The talk of him possibly not being here, the speculation, people love to speculate about random stuff. Has he expressed that he wants to stay here and sign his contract extension and be a Cowboy for a long time?
Yes, that's what he talked about. He wanted to be a Cowboy. Because remember, before he even became a Cowboy, that's what he talked about. He was like, even when he was getting ready for the draft, he just kept saying. Because it was funny, because after he came down here for the Cotton Bowl when we played for Penn State, which was his last college game, he was like, okay, I know where I want to go. I want to go to Dallas. And that's all he talked about for the whole time, all the way up to the draft. That's why his suit was blue.
Brought it into existence.
Yes, he had the faith. He was like, I want to go to Dallas. And that's why he was like, if it's Dallas, I'm going to cry. Because that's where he wanted to be. And, he wanted to be a Cowboy for life. He likes it here. And he said, Mom, even if I didn't get drafted by Dallas, I still want to move to Dallas.
It's in the perfect place.
So it was perfect.
Last question. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Just kind of your experience being the mother of Micah Parsons, one of the best defensive players in all of football.
I think, to like all the fans that, care about him, love about him, Micah is one guy that, he puts the team on his back every day. He, on off season, he's constantly working out every day. He gets up, even on off season, he's up 6 to 7 o'clock in the morning. He's going to work out, he's trying to get better. When he get off practice, he's doing massages and therapy and IV things and everything just to try to make sure he keep his body healthy to be able to be successful for this team. So, I know a lot of people are like, oh, he got the podcast, he does this, he does that. But trust me, that podcast is not affecting nothing that he's doing. His main focus is winning games for the Cowboys and trying to be the best player that he is out there on the field every chance he gets. So I know a lot of people say, "Oh, he podcast Parsons." I read the comments.
Podcast Parsons. I guess one last is, what's one piece of advice you would give to mothers of young boys who play sports that are raising their kids and just kind of amidst the chaos? What's one piece of advice you would give those moms?
Just stay the course. Sometimes I know it's hard. Every day taking them to practices and picking up and going to games and making those sacrifices, because sometimes it's not cheap. Everything's cost, and it's even more money now. But you just don't never know what that time that you putting in, that effort you putting in, that money you spending, taking them to camps and all that. You just never know how it might pay off in the end. Because I remember when I used to have Micah, I used to tell him, I was like, look, I can't afford to send you to college. You have to continue to be good because you can go for free. And, you just kept, instilling that in his head and just having that faith and just encouraging them just to continue to keep being the best that they can.
Proud mama.
Yes.
Awesome. Sherese, thank you so much for joining us and talking.
Thank you.